Welcome back to the Comics Aficionados right here on Thinking Critical YouTube. And I'll be honest, I forgot to book the show. Oh, too sweet.
Too sweet, baby, for life.
Absolutely. I didn't really book a show, so we're just going to talk about the news that's come out in the last week or so. DC Future State, UCS DC parting ways, Miss Marvel being canceled, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, The Last Ronin, print run shortage, all that kind of stuff. And obviously with me is some stalwarts of the channel and Fatal J himself. How you doing, Fatal J?
I am doing absolutely wonderful and well, and I am here. You know, that's my little thing now on your show, so I got to do that.
Oh, yeah, I like it when you use your catchphrases.
It's kind of like Razor Ramon, baby, for life.
Absolutely.
For life.
Hey yo, I thought it was hey yo.
Oh, he throw the toothpick and say for life.
That was that was over in the NWO when he was
that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. And the NWO was the best era.
But you were calling him Razor Ramon over in Razor in his Razor Ramon days.
He was Hey Chico.
Yeah,
you're right. I remember that. Yeah.
Nice. We got people from Singapore. We got somebody from Italy.
Ooh.
Tevi, I think, is in California. Man, we're all over the world. I'm in the Philippines.
That might as well be another country.
Yeah, there you go. Also with us today is the curmudgeon of critical himself, Pele. How you doing?
Whatever. Whatever. Yeah, it's just
sounds like we're all doing great. My back's killing me.
It's raining here.
I cooked homemade chicken noodle soup from scratch today. It took me like 5 hours.
Jeez.
I made the noodles and everything.
How about dedication?
It's a shit show. Well, anyway, we're going to have fun.
Was
we're
kneading
talk
the
today.
dough.
Be good.
Let's just put it that way. And then last but not least is the X-Men historian, the Marvel aficionado, and somebody that can feel my pain as far as my back. How you doing, Doc?
My back is fucking killing me. And I am happy to know that I'm going to see the orthopedic guy on Monday.
I swear this must be like the alignment of the stars, because my lower back, I got out of bed this morning, it's killing me.
Yep. Yeah. Welcome to the club, brother. we're the old, cranky, falling apart comic people.
Yep.
Yeah. I might not look like it, but yeah, my back is killing me.
Yeah, my lower back. Is it your lower back or your whole back?
Oh, it's my lower.
It's my lower too.
It's my lower back. That's what it always hurts.
Yeah. Tevia got a point there. Degeneration X. Yeah, it's Generation X degenerating. Our backs are degenerating.
Backs are breaking down. Oh my goodness. So I don't know. You guys ready to talk about some comic book stuff?
Yes, sir.
Hell yeah.
All right, so I guess the big news is we finally have the vision of what DC Comics Generation 5 was going to be. It's been repackaged. It's no longer NWO. It's NWO Black and Red, or Wolfpack. It's DC Comics Future State. We've got Bruce Wayne thought to be murdered. He's on the run from the magistrate. Luke Fox or Tim Fox are the new Batman. Everybody in Gotham is basically on lockdown. The magistrate stole all of Bruce Wayne's technology and has it as like a police state. It's got it on lockdown. We've got, who are the Batgirls? I think it's Cassandra Cain and Spoiler are the Batgirls. Nightwing's the same as he's always been. I don't know. I think that's about most of the teams and everything. Catwoman's still on the prowl. Harley Quinn is in prison. Obviously, over in Superman, Jonathan Kent is the new Superman on Earth. He's got Metropolis in a bottled city, but the real Superman, Clark Kent, is on, I think, War is basically doing the Planet Hulk route. And then there's some other storylines out there.
Now,
Jay, what are your thoughts on DC Comics Future State?
I picked up some of them joints, but I'm interested in that Jonathan Kent because his suit looks off the hook. I like that design. Now, I'm trying to figure out this, though. Jonathan Kent, Superman's son, Jonathan Kent?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Because I looked at a cover and I saw a new design, a Superman. I saw a new design, a Batman. And the guy at my local comic book shop, he said, no, that's Jonathan Kent. And he said that's not Bruce Wayne in that Batman suit either. And I said, man, you know what? Sign me up. Let me read some of this. This could be very interesting.
Was he talking about future state or was he talking about deceased?
No, this is future state because like I looked on the cover and there was like a whole bunch of characters on there. And it had like Jonathan
Blades.
Yeah. Bruce was the one wearing like the short-sleeved Batman costume, right?
Yeah.
At first, I didn't think he had any legs, and then I realized he was sitting on the edge of that thing with like his legs underneath him. I was like, "Oh my goodness, they cut his legs off. That's crazy." He's got legs.
And then Connor was the one with all the chains on him, right?
Yeah, he's the new leader of the Suicide Squad.
Okay,
but that one's going to be on like Third World or whatever the crime syndicate is, where Suicide Squad's going to be.
Earth 2
or 3. Looking forward to the Joelle Jones stuff. That is a good point. Did you guys see the new Wonder Woman, Yara Flor?
She looks good.
She looks amazing.
Y'all talking about with the red, blue, and gold? The red, blue, and gold she got on.
Yeah. Let me see if I think I got a picture.
The problem is America Chavez looked good too, and we all know what kind of shit show that was. So,
well, Joelle Jones is a better writer than Gabby Rivera, so
yeah,
I think,
and also a better artist than the discount Frank Quitely.
Where is she? Here she is.
The only thing I'm confused of, and I'm still confused of this, is how a Wonder Woman is not from Themyscira.
She sort of is.
I could never say that name to save my life, even if you give me $1 million. Themyscira.
Let's hide that. We don't want to block any of Wonder Woman here. The new Wonder Woman, Yara Flor.
But that's what I'm saying. I'm looking at these new designs of these characters. They man, it's sweet. I'm loving it.
I actually do. I do dig the design on it.
This one I do.
Yeah, and I like most of the designs that they've done so far. Not all of them, but most of them actually look pretty cool. So, at least we're starting at a decent spot with the art looking good. Now, whether or not any of the stories are any good, that's a whole different question. But at least the design wise,
yeah.
But then again, New 52 was pretty all right design wise too, except for all the extraneous lines.
Man, see, Rod Henry's knows where it's at. It's the DC booty state.
Oh yeah.
Yara Flor looks bootylicious. Very, very nice. So that was probably the high point. What's the reaction you've gotten from your customers, Pele? What are people saying? Are they excited? I'm getting like a little bit more than 50-50 negative, like more on the negative side, but Perch said his channel is basically 50-50.
No, just everybody's canceling until it's gone. It's just like, we don't want that. They just, no. So they're saying, we'll just take 2 months off. So most people are just taking 2 months off. So.
I don't know, does anybody have an opinion on Red X coming into comics? He's from the animated series, right?
But real quick, with this Wonder Woman right here, why do I get an Arabian vibe? Is it just me?
Arabian. She's Brazilian.
Oh, okay. With the letters, that's like an Arabian style. I just maybe thought that's where they were going with that.
I can see where you're coming from.
Brazilian is cool too. I like Brazilian.
Absolutely.
Brazil.
Still not Themyscira.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with that. They just throw shit at the wall.
You know what? Maybe if it's like one of one of the women that have left Themyscira, and
it's her kid.
It's her kid. Hopefully, and then she just
hopefully
lived in Brazil. I hope there's still a connection. If it's just she's Wonder Woman but has no connection, then it's basically fucking Power Girl.
Yeah,
she has a connection. Her story is that she's doing something involved with Themyscira. I can't remember the exact solicitation, but she is doing Wonder Woman business, and she's teaming up with Jonathan Kent in a Superman Wonder Woman comic.
Yeah,
I can get
No,
behind
we're just
that.
yeah. I'm just thinking that if she doesn't actually have a bloodline connected with the Amazons, then what's
Just
the point?
being from the Brazilian Amazon doesn't make her Wonder Woman.
Right. Exactly.
That she's just Power Girl.
Yeah.
Sorry.
They said that there's a connection to Themyscira. I imagine this will be the daughter of a Themysciran that escaped the island, and you know, obviously they're not having children there exactly. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Wonder Woman was kind of like formed from clay. So yeah, it's
Yeah.
like all right. It's not exactly like they've got some guy chained up in a basement somewhere, and they just go and get some when they need a new kid. Although I know a lot of guys who would probably sign up for that, but
Yeah. Now, the one thing I love is, it's a Brazilian, and they gave her an ass. It's perfect.
Well, you can't say it here.
No, you
But
can't.
she's
I'm
got
a-
hips. That's what
That's what Brazil has. And hey, I want to give a special shout out to Second Street Marvel, because on the video I did with Wes, you was the only person
he's
that noticed.
unsubscribed.
He unsubscribed to your video? I mean, to your
Yeah,
channel?
he said for having you on the channel too much.
Well, Second Street, it will only be you that will notice what I did on the Wes show, which was pretty hilarious. I can't lie. I can't lie. Wes, you want to tell them real quick, or you want to ignore it? Because that was pretty funny what I did. When you told me,
I don't remember what you're talking about.
okay, you said we was looking at a bunch of Last Ronin covers, and you said I like the one on the bottom right, and I said
Absolutely.
which one?
Oh yeah, on the left or the right? I was like, this moron
And
does not know left and right.
I knew somebody like Second Street would be the only one that noticed that. Everybody else ignored it except him. Second Street, I hate your guts, but I love you at the same time, my friend. Look, he laughing in the chat now about that.
Yeah. So what are you guys thinking about? They're kind of reusing some storylines. Like I said, the magistrate taking over Gotham and using Bruce's technology to keep the people at bay. Not exactly the newest story arc you could ever get as far as Batman concerned.
Yeah,
Superman
recycled.
going to War World to become a gladiator, kind of like Planet Hulk. What do you think, Pele? Not exactly the most original stories we've ever seen.
Well, that's recycled trash with
Yeah.
new characters. But it's okay. Try to be more positive. Hopefully they don't make the same mistakes that the previous writers made. Maybe that'll be a plot positive there. But I'm skeptical because DC doesn't do relaunches for shit. But
It's not a relaunch. This is a convergence style event.
This is an interlude.
yeah.
It's a pause.
But,
Man, how many times we seen Superman fighting as a gladiator? That's been done 1,000,000 times. Matter of fact, that happened in death metal too. I'm sick of that.
So, but yeah, I mean, the people that are excited over this, I think it's mostly the artwork that's grabbing them and dragging them in. So,
Well, I think it's not nearly what, like I said, Bleeding Cool originally said it was. Now, Paley, what do you think about them doing the $8 comics with the main story and then 2 backup stories? It was the $6 comics with the main story, a backup story, and then everything else being $4. Do you like the $8 comics?
no.
It seems to be what DC Comics wants to do. Overpriced comic books now.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. I mean, we're talking what, a 48-page comic that's $8? Come on.
I thought the 48-page comics were $6, and then the $8 ones were $64 or 64 pages.
It's still, that's crazy. Even at 64, that's kind of crazy. I mean, people kind of expect about, they're kind of expecting 10 cents a page right now is kind of like what most readers are expecting. And yeah, that's kind of steep. That's not exactly a good way to try to draw people into a new product. It's kind of, but I'll have to wait and see. There's it's going to be square bound. I think the first ones are going to be the first initial launch issues are going to be square bound. So that'll help some. if they have a good cover on it.
This is a far cry from DC's holding the line at $2.99 era.
Yeah.
Now they're going the complete opposite direction. Let's see how fast we can get to $15 comics.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So no, but you know what? I don't think it's terrible. I don't think it's going to be. I think it's them product testing for 2 months. That's really what most of this is.
I think so too.
Yeah. Well, also they get to hire help. They get to hire work for cheap for 2 months. You know,
Yeah.
because these are new fresh faces, and you know they really get to cut the budget. You know, and get to show a slimmer, trimmer DC to the stockholders and stuff, and the higher ups. So, you know, they're trying to, like I said, they're throwing things at the wall and seeing what sticks. And
I agree because this is the era of everybody leaving DC, right? Everybody getting fired. They still doing that, right? Getting rid of people.
Some people.
Yeah,
They got rid of some editors and stuff, but it's a lot of B-list talent. A lot of people from Hollywood. There's like screenwriters that come in. Not many established creators. Brian Michael Bendis is on Legion of Superheroes. That's an instant pass. Joshua Williamson's writing a couple of the stories. Ram V, one of my favorite creators, not a big name. He's on a couple of books. Philip Kennedy Johnson, who's writing The Last God, something I really enjoy. He's on a couple of books, but you know, Joel Jones. But other than that, it's a lot of no names.
Yeah, and no names mean lower money,
including I think Matthew Rosenberg.
Oh, God almighty. That stupid bastard.
I am happy that I'm getting a Midnighter story, and they're doing a bunch of stuff with Grifter. But
are you happy that the Midnighter story is a backup story for the Batman book, so you have to pay $8 to get those like 12 pages?
I'm a little torn on that one.
It's that's not what people expected. They expected a Grifter book, and not getting a Grifter comic.
I mean,
I saw Grifter in the background of all those characters. Like
Grifter's in Batman 101, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And so we're getting Grifter, but then again, I don't like DC Universe Grifter.
I don't either.
He's not really Cole Cash.
I like Image Comics. Cole Cash.
Wild.
They've really neutered him, haven't they? I mean, it's like, man, he's just like vanilla. It's like he used, you know, we're talking about somebody that had a lot of, you know, he was a pretty. You know, he was pretty out there. You know, he had his own style and everything.
Pele, you know who he remind me of?
They cut off his balls. I mean,
they did. Pele, he put me in the midst of like a Wolverine and a Gambit mashed together.
Yeah, he was feral, and now they kind of like pulled his teeth.
Yeah,
you know, it's like okay.
Grifter always had this. You know, there was always something kind of a little simpy about him. But in a cool way.
When it came to Zatanna, though.
Zealot.
Zealot. Yeah. Zealot. When it came to Zealot, he was simpish.
Yeah. And he, you know, because he was always trying, like, the great thing is he had this, like, on again, off again romance with an borderline immortal, superhuman, alien, ninja. That
kind of like Psylocke.
Yes, it's more like, honestly, it's more like if like Batwoman banging Superman or Batman dating Wonder Woman. And except for without the money, you know, he doesn't have the money and he's not quite as smart, but he's even more brutal than Batman. Yeah. But he also learned to fight from her because he was just, you know, he was part of Team 7, which is still one of the coolest concepts to add, where you have a lot of your characters that all come out of this same special operations unit that got exposed to, you know, an alien mutagen. So Grifter does have superpowers.
Yeah, but he don't use them that much.
He doesn't use them that much because he's not very good at it.
Yeah.
And I mean, the original character's design was all right by Jim Lee. I really liked a lot of the redesigns where they made him a much more like special ops kind of design where he wear a lot more like the black tactical stuff, but he still kept that mask.
But Doc,
the mask is
Doc, I want to ask you this though. Doc. It was a dope Grifter design that was coming out. It was like a reboot of the Wildcats, and then it never came to light. Like
well, there was the new 52 version, which I didn't like.
No, this was a comic book. Like you had Grifter, like he had like a green jacket on. He had like a hoodie, and I was really hyped about. You know what I'm talking about?
During the Warren Ellis The Wild Storm,
but it never did drop, did it?
They never released the Wildcats one. They canceled that series because that was supposed to be Ellis and again discount Frank Quitely.
I was looking forward to that one. Then it just never came to light. It never happened.
Yeah, they axed it because the artist needs to spend all of his time online hunting Nazis, and not drawing his comic book.
That's sad.
I want to say welcome to the channel, Brian Ball, the HMFIC of Rags. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing great. How's everybody here?
Oh,
Every
man,
time I
hear the dog I hear.
Hey, it's up, Fatal. That's my man right there.
Hey man, every time I see a Raz cover, I'm like, huh?
The CEO of Nanco.
That is me. Sorry I'm late, guys. I took a Valium and overslept.
It's cool, brother.
No worries, brother. So it's time to move on to the next topic. But before we do that, if this is your first time visiting the channel, you just discovered us, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell hit the bell for notifications. Give us a thumbs up if you enjoyed this video. Give us a thumbs down if you don't. And if you have negative things to say about Fatal J, we want to hear those in the comment section. I know you all want to say something about Fatal J.
Don't call him Gilligan.
Say something fatal about my man. Say something about my man. Dare you.
So now let's move on to the next topic. UCS and DC comics are parting ways. I guess we found out after the fact. It's in fact UCS that has decided they no longer want to be in the distribution game. They just want to be Midtown Comics, have their online retail store and their storefronts and things like this. Well, what do you think, Paley? Was this unexpected, or I know you were getting your comics through UCS, right?
I kind of expected it because they've done it. They did a competent job. They didn't go above and beyond like Lunar did. They still had really good as far as product delivery, but I didn't have any problems that a lot of the other retailers had. But here's what was interesting about this, and maybe I'm talking out of school or whatever like that, but they asked a lot of information about customers, a lot of customer information, surveys and questions and, wanting specific customer information and stuff like that. I think that they were just getting into it to get customer info, get the customer list, and then bail. I don't like to say that because I like Midtown. I think that Midtown's a good company. I still buy from them as far as their wholesale program goes. I'm probably still going to keep buying from them because they're like, I can get stuff from them cheaper than I can get it from distribution, a lot of stuff. And but I get that itchy feeling that's why they did this, is they wanted access to customer info. And then once they got it, they're like, oh, hey, see ya. We're going to bail now. Have a good life. But I just get that feeling.
I do have to ask, though, what kind of info could they possibly be asking for? I mean, unless they're asking for names, phone numbers, and addresses,
basically,
or emails. Yeah. Oh, then why in the hell do you need to give them that for?
But we don't. But they're like, who's your top customers? Maybe who can we help supply things that you can't get? Who can we? And I was like, you can't supply anything we can't get. We can get anything.
I mean, unless you're gonna mail me pounds of booger sugar. No, you can't get me anything that my comic shop can't.
A lot of it is basically customer data and habits and stuff like that. A lot of survey data. You got to understand how corporations really think, and I'm sure you do. That that type of data is what they find invaluable, and hey, if they can run distribution chain for 6 months and get their hands on all that data, it's worth it to them. So, I just get that nagging feeling that that's what this was about. And, they saw how much work and how much went into actually supplying, product for that many stores, everything like that. They crunched the numbers and said, hey, this isn't really the profits that we're used to. So, they got what they wanted and then they pieced out. It's I'm not surprised. I'm really, really not. I hoped that they would stick with it because, like I said, I like working with Midtown. But I think that Lunar really has a better attitude towards doing that job. So I'm fine with that. If Lunar's going to be the DC distributor, the sole DC distributor, I'm fine with that.
So there's another announcement that came out with that. They're actually implementing a $125 a week or $500 a month minimum ordering requirement to receive your DC Comics. Did you hear about that one, Brian Ball?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, hold on. I got a question for you. I haven't got to the question. Just want to make sure that you knew the information. So that also lines up with Future State, which we just talked about, which is launching in January. Pele's already said a lot of his customers have said, I'm taking January and February off from DC Comics. Do you think that this minimum ordering requirement is in there so some of the smaller shops can't just take 2 months off from DC Comics and make them look like idiots by basically tanking their Future State event?
It makes it seem like they're trying to have a clutch there. Everybody wants money to stay in business. So if everyone's going to be ditching DC for this wherever this event is, sounds like garbage to me, but yeah, basically it just sounds to me like they're gonna just make sure they can anchor everybody to at least $500 to keep those books moving, so it looks like it's going to be a success, or that it's at least marketable.
Because outside of Future State, you've only got Batman, Catwoman, Rorschach, Batman Black and White, and I think
so basically just Batman. That's all they have is Batman right now.
Considering what cost has gone up to now, consider what cost has gone up to now. That's 60 books a week. Mm-hmm. And that's not much really when you're. But if you're a small shop, in the Midwest, that can be kind of onerous. So I don't know. I mean, we probably right now DC maybe 300 to 400 a week average. So, but and we're a Marvel shop, so I don't think it's really that bad. But it could be towards small shops.
Right, and especially considering like maybe these books those 60 books just find a place on the shelf and never leave. Yeah. So then they're just taking up real estate.
Yeah, I mean, we probably sell 60. We probably sell 60 books a week in Black Label. So,
But you're not a small store, right?
Well, not really, but still not a chain shop. I mean, it's not like it's not like a Mile High or anything like that. But I mean, we're a
Pele,
back
what's the
issue
number
shop
one book that sells?
Specializes in Marvel.
Pele,
What?
what's the number one book that sells the most at your shop? Is it Batman?
It varies.
Can you hear me pretty good?
X-Men for a while, and then Amazing Spider-Man with this last couple weeks. Last couple months rather, and Batman usually is in the top 3 somewhere. So a lot of times it's like specialty series. It's like like a launch of a new event. So.
Because when I look at sales, that what comic sold the most during the month, I always see Spider-Man, I always see Batman, I never see Superman in that top 10.
No,
which is odd to me.
No,
it's under 30,000.
No, Bendis. You know, Bendis
Bendis
kills it. Somebody funny business talking about Thor. Yeah, when the Thor series first started around issue 2, 3, actually issue 1 blew it out, but 1 through 4 was amazing, and then it kind of just, you know, the air's kind of let out of it. But it's still a really good mid-range seller.
Yep, Thor's pretty hot. I was a little let down with the final confrontation with the Black Winter. It felt like it was going to be a big thing, and it was like 4 pages, and it was done.
Yeah, I was expecting like a whole book of a fight, and it was like, oh, okay, well.
So, Pele, you know, what are your thoughts? Do you hope that maybe DC revisits Diamond again and has 2 distributors, or you want them just to stick with Lunar?
I think Lunar's fine. I mean, if they went back and signed up with Diamond, but the problem is there's just so much friction between the 2 companies now. They've aired a lot of laundry. And there's a lot of backstabbing, you know, nitpicking and stuff like that. I just don't think they can work together now. So it's probably just, you know, they go to their own separate rooms and you know, deal with it. So, I mean, if Lunar can keep up, and that's the thing, Lunar's got to be able to prove they can keep up because they're running half the country, and they were having problems as far as the stock was concerned. So, you know, they're going to have to prove that they can actually keep up with the whole thing in the United States. So.
Well, they said they were acquiring some more space at some warehouses, so they'll have a bigger reach nationally.
Yeah, a lot of that's going to have to do with logistics and being able to handle as far as, you know, workforce and whatnot, because, you know, they're already pulling, some of those guys are, you know, I heard through the grapevine, people working 60, 70 hours a week in fulfillment, and it's like, that's hard. You know, they're going to have to get some trained people in there. They're going to have to really get in and get some people ready to add some shifts, because if they're going to rely on the same amount of workforce to double the distribution, then it's going to be a shit show. But hopefully they get that worked out.
So moving on to the third topic we got to talk about, Brian Ball, can you believe it? They've canceled Miss Marvel, and it's going to be on issue 18, also known as issue number 75, the milestone of Miss Marvel. It only took them 4 print runs, 4 different series to make it to 75 issues. Should be a stain on the company and all the Legion of Doofuses on their ineptitude that it takes them that long to get to issue 75. They can't make Miss Marvel, Kamala Khan, who was actually sold really well at the very beginning. Are you surprised Miss Marvel's been canceled?
Actually, I am, because they've been pushing Miss Marvel for, God, how long? Since like 2014? Yep. Like they've been pushing her since 2014. They've been pushing her hard. She sold very well in the beginning, and honestly, the character is not that bad. But like a lot of the newer characters Marvel's trying to introduce, they all suffer from this thing I like to call events. So their stories get interrupted, and none of these characters get a chance to grow. And so when they're finally out on their own, pandering around before the next event, honestly, all they're really doing is just preparing for the next event, and no one's going to care about what the character's going to do prior to this event.
Do anything with the character,
right? And you can't really do anything. You can't give her own villain, because that's going to get wiped next event, or it's going to get erupted during the event.
They can't give her flaws. People have to have flaws. Heroes have to have flaws.
Yes.
She ain't got time to have flaws. They don't have time to even give her flaws.
No, they're scared to give her flaws, because she's supposed to be the embodiment of Santa Amonat, you know, and it's like, you know, she's like the character that you know, that's supposed to, you know, be that person in comic books, and we don't want to talk bad about her, you know, we don't want to give her any problems.
Well, they gave her pretty big flaws.
Honestly, of all they self-insert,
the villain, right?
Yeah, they chose the villain, right?
No, she sided with Captain Marvel and the villains and was imprisoning people.
Yeah,
except for there was never any repercussions for that.
Exactly.
Nope.
You know, when
repercussions, but she was the best and she was the loved. Everybody loved her.
When it comes to these female characters, there's no flaws. Fatal J said it. Pele said it first, though. There's no repercussions with these ladies. And this is just like the Captain Marvel comics. They push these comics so hard and try to jam it down our throats, and people don't care about these characters.
How many? Here's the thing. How many millions of people has Captain Marvel led to their actual demise, and nobody cares and nobody mentions it? How many civilizations has she wiped out and nobody cares? Nobody
Not enough,
mentions it.
apparently.
Right.
Yeah, it's pathetic.
Jean Grey ate an entire planet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's not in prison.
No, but she had to die.
Well, at least Jean Grey got put on trial.
Yeah, she did.
She had to
At
die.
least.
She had to die. She had to get put on trial. She suffered plenty as a result. She's
a mass murderer, Doc. She's not in jail.
Okay. There's
So
no
wait, does that mean
She was possessed.
You know who else was a mass
She
murderer?
was possessed with the penis, man. That's an excuse.
Captain Marvel's possessed by the Captain Marvel force. She's
Oh,
there's
she's
no
got the
Captain
Kree
Marvel force.
blood flowing through her. It's not her fault.
No, it just hit me. Captain
she's a
Marvel's
Nazi by
literally
nature.
Hitler.
She's a Nazi by nature. She can't help it.
Can you stop with the
Captain Marvel's
Nazi talk?
Hitler.
Like, I'm getting like a bunch of my videos are all like getting age restricted because of that stuff.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry.
Yeah, I would appreciate it if we could not say the N word, the other N word.
Okay.
Well,
Okay.
regardless-
Naughty by nature.
He said the other N word.
um,
I'm stealing
no,
that.
no, like honestly though, Jean had consequences.
Yes, she did.
Now,
Yes, she did.
were they sufficient? I don't know, but there were none placed on Carol. There were none on Kamala. There were none on her little brown shirt squad that she had running around working for Carol. There were no consequences to any of the terrible crap that Carol and her little squadron of weirdos perpetrated during Civil War II. There was none. It was just like it was forgotten.
I think the writer didn't intend for them to be the bad guy.
Yes, I know. The same way Bendis didn't pretend, didn't intend for Tony to be the bad guy in Civil War One. Same
Wasn't
way,
that Mark Miller?
Yeah, you're correct. The same way that they didn't intend for the mutants to be the good guys in House of M, for them to be the good guys in AVX.
Or like Rorschach to be the only character you can relate to in Watchmen.
Yeah, like these people are so super smart that they have lost all connection with how the readers are going to respond.
Do y'all think? And I just want to ask this simple question. Maybe it's just Fatal J. Do you think Kamala Khan is a cash grab character?
I think she's an identity. She's an identity.
No, she's more of a pandering character.
Yeah, she's a pandering character.
A self-insert, kind of like Gwenpool.
But what I'm saying is to get that demographic of Indian people.
Oh yeah,
is that
Pakistani.
She's not Indian. She's from Pakistan.
Oh well, my bad. Indian people, I'm sorry. Pakistani people, I'm sorry.
Don't.
But look,
Fatal J over here starting another world war.
Fatal J is racist. No, I'm just kidding. But look,
you can't be racist, man.
I know I can't be. But hey, Pakistani, do y'all think that's for that demographic, for the Middle Eastern demographic, Kamala Khan? Do y'all think that? Or
I think it's an attempt to penetrate that market.
Yeah.
But whether it's successful or not is, obviously it hasn't been.
Yeah, because that's what I'm saying. To me, it's just that character seems artificial. Now, like Dalzine from Street Fighter, he made sense because in Street Fighter, that's like a world tournament. So he's meant to be there. But this character here, I don't know, it's just artificial to me.
What she really is she suffers from the same thing that a lot of characters do, which is every decade Marvel tries to recreate Spider-Man. They tried it in the 70s with Speedball. They tried it in the 80s with
I remember that.
And
Night Thrasher. They tried it with Night Thrasher.
They tried it with Night Thrasher. They tried it in there was they tried it with Ben Reilly in the 90s. They
Ben
tried
Riley.
they tried it with Kamala. They tried it with America. They tried it with, they threw a bunch of them out there.
They want a new It character.
Yes.
And, it's.
But they kind of, they already had Dust, right?
Yeah, they already had.
Yeah, but
Dust.
but she was written by a white supremacist. Oh, sorry, I can't say that.
No,
She was drawn by one. Sorry.
Okay, I was gonna say, I didn't think,
Co-created by one. Let's put it that way.
yeah, I was gonna say, because that was Grant Morrison.
I know. I'm talking about
The problem is, they want these hit characters, they want to recreate characters, but they forget the one important thing about them, and that's the characterization.
Yeah.
If you don't have the characterization's not there, no one's going to care about them whatsoever.
Well, I like listening to Eric July, and he talked about it. That a lot of these characters, after their whatever their little hook is for race, gender, ethnicity, whatever it is, they don't have anything beyond that.
Well, they do have a great. Somebody did mention this in the chat. They do have a great new It character, and that's Miles Morales. The problem is they don't let anybody write Miles Morales that has
Like he should be written.
Like he should be written. I mean, it's just it's so irritating. It's just like, why don't you just let him be? Why don't you just let him be a real hero?
And Pele, he had a successful movie. He had a successful movie.
Slash video game.
Well,
Yeah.
The other problem they need to do with Miles is they need to take him out of Peter's shadow. And in which case he needs to be not Spider-Man. They can call him literally anything else.
Yeah. They
But
can call him,
Spider.
He could be the Scarlet.
Doc always hit the nail on the head. Doc, you're right. That's why I always tell people the Tom Holland Spider-Man, people don't have much respect for him because he's under Tony Stark's shadow. Why the hell would you have the leading character of Marvel under the shadow of Tony Stark?
Because they don't control him. Because he's still ultimately a Sony property.
That's right, but still, it's gonna make the character.
That's why. That's exactly why. Marvel buries any character that they don't own completely.
Yeah, you're right.
It will bury them in the comic books if they don't own them completely. And they do have a lot more latitude right now as far as Spider-Man's concerned. As long as Disney gets their money out of it, and Fox just and Sony rather just sort of puts their hands up and stands back. Everything's okay, but they still don't own Spider-Man, so they don't give him the full coverage that he deserves.
And that's valid.
Yep. So getting back
that
to
actually
Miss
reminds
Marvel,
me of.
hold on,
sorry.
guys. So kind of getting back to Miss Marvel, Fatal J. Do you think it also makes the character basically irksome or annoying when you see in the pages of Marvel Comics in the 616 when Kamala Khan, Miss Marvel, encounters Peter Parker, Spider-Man, and it feels like he has reverence for her and is looking up to her, even though he's been a superhero essentially from adolescence into adulthood, and she's been a superhero for like 2 minutes.
Yep.
If Spider-Man have reverence for this character right here, people are going to hate Kamala Khan. Period. Point blank.
That's why they do. It's
Period. Point blank.
I think Marvel thinks that they're
deserves all
raising
this
her
respect.
profile by using Spider-Man as the point of view character, but people realize that Spider-Man would never react that way. Like,
it comes off fake. It comes off fake because she's not done anything to deserve respect. She's not done anything. She doesn't have the achievements to demand the respect. So it's like, why is he doing it in the first place? It doesn't make any sense.
but I think if they let her fail a few times, come in and save the day, and then, hey, good job, kid. Here's a step up. Obviously, she probably does need a signature villain.
But Wes, you're right, because let me tell you something. I used to, as a little kid, used to always watch cartoons and read comics, and I used to always wonder why the hero get their butt kicked all the way through the movie, and then they beat the villain or whatever. Like the Rocky movies. Rocky would get his butt kicked the whole entire fight until the last round. I never understood that because in my head, I'm like, beat him up through the whole thing. But if the hero beats up the villain through the whole thing, you cannot relate to that character.
Yeah.
Well,
So
there's no tension in the story.
Yeah, so I can't relate to characters like Captain Marvel. I can't relate to Kamala Khan. I can't relate to these characters because it's like Pele and Doc said, it's no flaws in these characters. You need flaws. You need flaws so your audience be like, you know what? I can understand that. I can understand her struggle.
You think about Peter Parker, like the prototypical teenage superhero. Like, how many times did he fail? I mean, he essentially kind of accidentally let his uncle get killed.
Yep,
that's kind of his fault. That's part of the fabric of the character, his failure.
And
he couldn't save Gwen Stacy on the bridge.
You right, that failure that he let Uncle Ben die, there will always be a struggle inside of him. With Batman, that's always a struggle. His parents got killed in front of him. It'll never leave. But these characters, these Captain Marvel, SJW type characters, oh, they're perfect and flawless. Can't nothing happen to them. They're the perfect woman.
Miles initially had success because his major flaw was his temper. He had a terrible temper in the Ultimate Comics, and
he did.
It made him a flawed hero, and it made people relate to him. When they brought him into the 616, they essentially eliminated all those flaws, and you wonder why his title is middling at this point. Everybody's hoping that maybe they'll bring back some of those flaws, and some of them stick around because they're just hoping it gets better again. But if he would have been portrayed the way he's being portrayed now, when he first took over for Peter Parker in the Ultimate Universe, he would have flopped harder than a whale landing out of a plane. It would have been it would have been Mosaic 2.0 or 0.1. I don't know, since it happened first. You know what I mean, though.
I just find it such incredible irony that I'm sitting here looking at this speech that was given by Sana Amanat in 2017, and she's saying that she wants a character that young ladies can look up to, that young girls can look up to, and can see a heroine inside themselves. But here's the problem. Everybody knows that they have flaws. Everybody knows that they have problems. And you cannot relate to a character who doesn't have problems. So you've created this idol that people can look up to, but they can't relate with it. So people don't buy it. It just doesn't fit.
And getting back to the subject of Kamala, she's just not terribly unique. She doesn't, her powers are
Reed Richards.
Her personality is every tween, fangirl with NSYNC in 1997.
Yeah.
Her uniform is very generic
bland
and stupid.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And she doesn't have, in addition to the fact that she has like 4 different personalities depending on who's writing her.
Yeah.
There's nothing unique about her. She is a complete blank slate character that whichever creator is assigned to her that week gets to impose themselves upon. And that's fine, I guess, but you're never going to get a popular character out of that.
The girls in my shop that their number one titles that they buy, and I've paid attention to this because don't have a lot of girls that just come in and have subscriptions. So I like to try to get as many of them as I can because I want them to read the comics. I want them to enjoy comics, but they like Black Cat and they like Catwoman. Big surprise, okay, and they also like stuff like that has a fantasy edge. Surprisingly, there's a lot of them that read The Last God and stuff like that. But they really dig Catwoman and they like Harley. And why? Because these chicks are hot. They're hot. They represent something that they want to be. you know, and like, oh, she's curvy, she's pretty, she's hot, you know, I like that. You know, girls like hot chicks too, you know, and you've got Kamala Khan, who looks like a stick figure. You know,
No, she's like 14.
but she should be like 18 by now. But you
No,
know,
Marvel's sliding timeline. It's
I know,
probably
I
been
know,
like
I know.
3 months.
Yeah, it's
But-
probably been 6 months in the
but
sliding.
it's still a
timeline.
character that they just don't want to be. You know, it's like
Well,
you don't have a lot of tween girls that come into the shop to buy comics. I'm sorry.
there's also the one thing to keep in mind is that, you know, Neostar Productions mentioned it in the chat that Kamala was created around the time that the X-Men were being phased out in favor of the Inhumans. She was essentially designed to be the Inhuman Kitty Pryde.
Yeah, that's true.
And, you know, Kitty is a rather well-loved character, but she's never been able to carry her own title. Never. I mean, the closest thing you had was that Marvel and Mechanics.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, she was interesting-ish in the original run of X-Men, and then she kind of took a more starring role in Excalibur. But for the most part, she, you know, and considering that the Inhumans were the basically G.I. Bob, you know, Taiwanese knockoff dollar store version of the X-Men to begin with, you're going to end up with a dollar store knockoff version of Kitty Pryde as the Inhumans Kitty Pryde.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
So
I don't know what they're doing now, dirtying her up and making her more for more mature audiences, because yeah, all it does is put the fans off because they're like, I don't like this Kitty Pryde. So yeah, they're like, I like the sweet Kitty Pryde. I don't like the drunk off her ass, you know, ass grabbing lesbian Kitty Pryde. So,
okay, we're on the next topic. So TMNT The Last Ronin was shorted on its very first print run. Looks like they might have actually printed less than half of the 130,000 comics that were actually ordered, which is shocking because it is a $9 comic book. Fatal J, I know we're going to review TMNT The Last Ronin right here on my channel, on your channel.
Yes, we are. We're gonna split it in half. Yes,
Have you talked to your shop? Are you guaranteed
I talked to my shop.
I've seen it on eBay. It's like $50 now.
I talked to my shop, the owner. He talking about, yeah, man, you're gonna get it. He said, but cause I wanted to see what he was gonna say. I knew about the shortage. I want to see. I said, man, is the comic still coming? He said, yeah. He said, you're gonna get your comic. He said, but it's been a shortage, but you're gonna get your comic. I wanted to see if he was gonna lie to me. He didn't lie to me, so we'll see. This is my most anticipated comic of the year, Last Ronin. I don't know, how did it end up being short? Did they not anticipate the numbers?
They predicted how many copies were going to be ordered. They're a little bit bigger, so the cost was more, and it ended up being exceeding it. So one of the viewers on the channel said his comic shop wasn't going to have enough arrive to fill pull list, and they were doing a lottery.
yeah,
People gonna be
I heard
pissed
about
off.
that too.
People
Yeah.
going to be pissed, man.
Well,
gonna
I
be
mean,
pissed.
it's gonna be ugly because I don't have enough copies to fill my pulls, so I'm gonna have to be creative. So
You can cut them in half and then give people half a comic and
Charge them
and-
$4.50
Solomon
for it
approach.
instead of $9.
You
Yep.
can make it a scavenger hunt. Just hide pages around the store,
That's a good idea.
first one to put together a whole comic wins.
right?
But you know what? This first edition is going to be a doozy. It's going to be pretty expensive in the future, which is ironic because it kind of mirrors their first TMT comic, in my opinion.
Well, the first TNT comic is worth $10,000.
I know I want that
More.
bad boy, but I never get it because I'm broke and I live in my mother's basement.
Thank you for admitting.
Hey man, you got to tell the truth to all 116 people in here. You got to tell the truth sometimes. You know.
So how are you going to do that, Paley? Are you going to have to choose between your fullest customers? Are you going to do it randomly?
Seniority. It's got to be seniority, because the people that have been there the longest, that have stuck with us the longest, are the ones that are going to get rewarded.
Good idea.
I'm sorry that people that started a brand new pull list just so they could get this comic or something like that. I'm sorry, it's not going to work out. I can possibly try to dig up more copies, but if I've got to pay more, they've got to pay more. It's not going to be a pretty solution. It's not going to be elegant. But if somebody's been with us for 10, 15 years, they're going to get a book, and that's just the way it is. And I'm not going to have copies, to squirrel back. I think that I've got. I know that just about everybody on the staff is going to forego a first print so that they can have customers can fill theirs. And that's very, very nice that's very, very nice of the employees. But there's a lot of shops that I've already found out that they're not even going to fill their subscription people at all. So it's all going to be markup and put them out at $50-$60, and that's just wrong.
Well, those shops deserve to lose all their customers.
Yeah, they're wrong.
Yeah.
That's wrong. And but they're doing it anyway. So
Kenneth Darling came up with a good question. He said, "Is Last Ronin a limited monthly run or bi-monthly?"
oh, it's going to be monthly for the run. from what
That
I
is
heard.
monthly.
So how are they going to do this? Okay, the first books are going to go out, and it's a shortage.
They've already
on them.
solicited the second print run to fulfill the entire first print run.
Oh,
It was-
okay.
will I think show up December 2nd.
Yeah. So the second print's already being sold out. So
It is sold
But-
out, yeah.
it is what it is. The people that are requesting, going by seniority, first prints, to the oldest customers, second prints to everybody else. And I'm sorry, it's the best we can do.
Yeah,
that's what I've
that's
had to
too
tell
bad.
people, and that's the way it's going to be.
There is no good solution to this problem,
Nope.
because this is, no store can just make them appear out of nowhere. I feel like this is a case where other stores should be, if they over ordered and have shelf copies, they should be kind of asked to maybe make a sacrifice for stores that are getting shorted just for their pull customers.
Yep.
But there's no way to prove that. So
Well, no one would go along with those copies.
Yeah.
Are worth like $40-$50 minimum.
Yeah.
Yeah,
final order
the-
cutoff for second print is Monday. That's why I
There
said it's
is
about.
kind of like a solution to problems like this with being short on print runs. That's just looking at printing differently than we do now. Like, for us, I know we print our own stuff. So, hey, look, a print on demand sort of a model would actually, fix some of the back end stuff. So, hey, we only printed 120,000 when we should have printed 150,000. All you gotta do is just hit print again on the 30,000 just to make up for it. That shouldn't be too
but-
huge of an issue. At least
So,
in my
I
opinion.
want to ask you this, bro. Do you think that they simply dropped the ball and now this is an excuse?
There's an issue right now.
Okay, that's
with,
what I was thinking too.
There's
thinking
printer
that too.
shortages because paper costs went up and a lot of printers went out of business. We've known about that
true.
issue for like 4 months.
And it's going to, and I'll tell you what, it's creating buzz and it's creating hype, and
This
we sold out and we have such demand, and it's creating more hype.
Pele, I thought the same thing. This could be freaking marketing. This could
Well,
be
it's
marketing.
they're using the
They're
reality.
turning lemons into lemonades, pretty much.
Yeah,
what's
exactly.
happening right now.
Because
That's
think
what I'm
about this though. Everybody buy my product and it's a shortage of my, because I learned this back in entrepreneurs class, entrepreneur week in the 5th grade. If you sell out of something and everybody wanted that thing, the next time that you produce that product, it's going to sell out again. So maybe they got some marketing behind this. I don't know. I feel like
IDW didn't think that they could sell 130,000 copies of a $10 comic book. The only company that does that is DC and Marvel.
But what I'm saying is you got the big dogs behind it. You got Peter Lord, you got Kevin Eastman. These guys haven't worked together in a long time. This is like the Beatles coming together.
It's still an indie comic, though. Indie comics don't usually sell 100,000 copies.
You know? Right, but
that's something like Spawn 300 did.
Hold on. There's like only like a handful of indie comics that could actually pull something off. Spawn is one of them, and Ninja Turtles is the other.
Ninja Turtles transcend just comic books.
You're a little bit close to it though. You've got to look at $10 comic book.
I would buy a Ninja Turtle comic book for 20. I mean,
that's what I told Wes.
I
told Wes the same thing. I don't care if it was $30, I'll buy it because it's Ninja Turtles. You know.
Yeah, but they hadn't produced a comic like this. They anticipated the demand. They printed to that, and they realized they were probably over half short on it.
Exactly. So
this wasn't intentional.
No, it wasn't intentional. They're just trying to make the best of a bad situation. And the second print is selling really fast. So it's already, out there. So, as far as
if I get this first print, I'm definitely going to slab it up, put it up in the back, and gloat and brag to everybody out there.
Well, you should feel good. If they were going by seniority in your store, you wouldn't get it. You said it was your first comic you've ever pulled.
I'd be camping outside that store, shanking people as they pass by. Got Ninja Turtles? Yeah, got Ninja Turtles.
Can you imagine all the speculators that are going to be in the, up at the butt crack of dawn, waiting at comic shops to go in and pull every copy off the shelf?
Oh, yeah. Well, there won't be many on shelves.
There probably won't be any. Because the buzz is so high.
Yeah. I mean, it just won't happen. They'll have it behind the counter, and unfortunately, most shops will be like, if you got a grant in your pocket, you can have one. It's just unfortunately the way that it goes. But I don't think there's going to be any on shelves. Just don't.
I must admit too. I saw you showed me the new interior. Oh man, that art looks great, man. So this is going to be great with the hype, with this art. Who's the artist?
It's some brothers. I don't remember their names specifically. Making me look stupid. Come on, man.
I ain't trying to make me on the spot. All you have to do is look it up while I talk some rambling. But the art looks wonderful, man. Because I
do know that the preview copy is still bringing big money. So
yeah, it was the Escorza brothers.
Yes, there you go.
Oh, okay.
So I guess a lot of people thought Kevin Eastman was illustrating this, and technically Kevin Eastman and Peter Laird aren't really writing this. This is something that they outlined. It was like a 20-page comic back in the day, and then I think Tom Waltz came in and punched it up and finished it for him. Mm-hmm. So, but it should be fun.
Y'all want to know a little funny story about Peter J? Real quick, Pele, I promise I'll be fast. I was on a stream with Paul Jenkins, and I wasn't on the stream, but I was in the chat, and I kept asking Kevin Eastman, what new comic book are you coming out with, sir? And he kept answering me Last Ronin, but I didn't get it. I thought he was talking about something with Frank Miller, and I said, are you and Peter Lorre ever gonna come out with a comic? And he kept putting Last Ronin, but he was getting pissed off at me. So any chance of me talking to Kevin Eastman in the future is done. Because he probably hated my guts because he kept answering my question, and I kept asking him a question like a dummy.
I was trying to tell you.
Didn't Frank Miller come out? Frank Miller came out with Ronin, right?
Yeah, that was.
I don't know why in my head I thought he was talking about something with Frank Miller. So I'm dumb.
I like turtles.
You're welcome. I'll probably just sell people copies of Usagi Yojimbo instead.
So moving on from TMNT, we've got even more comic book news. This one's more of like a social media type thing. Did everyone see Donny Cates and his weirdness on Twitter yesterday? Doc, I know you saw it. He I guess he did a tweet where he was saying he would love to write like the Blade movie. And he got some feedback that said, listen, you're not a person of color. You're not allowed to write a Blade movie. And he actually came back and apologized. And then he like started tearing into all his fans that were supporting him, saying, you don't have to be black to write a Blade movie. Yes, I do.
he does this, I swear to fucking God, like every 2 months. He has a perfectly reasonable take. A handful of the dozen Twitter weirdos throw a temper tantrum at him. 10,000 people back him up, and then he attacks the 10,000.
Yeah.
Every 2 fucking months.
It wasn't even a handful. It was one.
Yeah.
One tweet of somebody. Nobody was like, "Do you really think that you should be writing a Blade movie?" Oh no, God, no! It should only be a black person. Oh my God.
I mean,
I'll be honest. I have always thought that it's weird that Brian Ball writes rags or has any part in it, since
it's because I write gingers,
and he's dyslexic.
yes, I am.
You're welcome.
That joke never gets old.
No, it does not.
So I think Donny Cates can write a good Blade movie, but there's actually something I've been trying to look up. There's a forum, Recent Era had this take on Miles Morales, and this is all going to connect, I promise, where they had actually mentioned, if they had just let Miles Morales like drop a few N-bombs while he's fighting, it would probably make him feel a little bit more realistic as a character, because he's half black, half Puerto Rican,
Authentic.
and a little bit more authentic, quote unquote. But when you think about it, it kind of sounds, bogus. But there's just certain things as a half black, half Hispanic character that a white person's not gonna know, or they're not gonna say. Like I gotta find this thing because it actually had some good points, despite being a little weird. But is it necessary? No. But if you're just going for a character like Blade, Donny Cates, yeah, you can totally write Blade. Blade is not a character that needs authenticity. He hunts vampires, for Christ's sakes.
He's a daywalker. He's the only one in the world.
It's not like writing T'Challa. It's not like writing, African royalty. This is Blade. He has, he's half UK, half US. There's no real. It's like what he said, like what idiot Kate said later on. In the other tweet where somebody asked, well, is Blade really a character that that is tied to their ethnicity? Oh yes. It's like,
but he's not.
No,
he's
not.
Blade has never been like the black vampire hunter. He's just been the vampire hunter.
Yeah, I mean, even when he had the fro back in the 70s, and was wooden stakes, in the Tomb of Dracula, which is a really great key, by the way. You should pick that up. But he, even then, there was no big hook to that. He just happened to be a black man who was, a vampire hunter.
Just y'all want to know vampires.
Y'all want to know a secret?
Need to write Blade.
I'm gonna tell y'all a secret though. With that comic book with Blade with the leather jacket, it came out in the 90s. That Blade comic book scared me a little bit as a kid, man. There's some hardcore stuff in that book. Y'all know what I'm talking about? Well, he got the red shirt on with the leather jacket with the katana sword.
Are you talking about the late 90s one or whenever he was in Spirits of Vengeance?
The one? No. This one where he had the leather jacket, the red t-shirt under, had like the spikes on the shoulders, and had the katana.
Yeah, but he kept that all through the 90s. There was 2 Blade series.
Well, it was one Blade run where he was fighting Deacon Frost and all them joints, and I don't know. That comic book scared the crap out of me, man. It was I'm telling you, it was like some demonic, satanic stuff in there. Scared me, man. I can't handle that type of stuff. I'm just a little scary guy,
Okay, then that would have been a Solo Blade series.
Solo Blade.
Likely. Okay.
Yeah.
because he was also in the Spirits of Vengeance series with Hannibal King and wait, who was that it was Nightmare? Who else was in that? There was a third person in that Spirits of Vengeance title.
Yeah, it's like
It was
Medina
like
said here. William
Okay,
Medina,
I'm
he was created by Wolfman.
I'm gonna tell y'all what it is. The number one copy has a vampire in the back like this, and Blade got his katana blade out like that. That's the number one issue.
Yeah.
That's the run I'm talking about, and that was a satanic, demonistic comic book, and I enjoyed it, but I was scared to death to read it. That was a scary comic, man.
I was already a teenager, so it was not a scary comic.
Well, see,
the only thing I fear is commitment, so I'm good.
What are we doing?
But bringing it back to Donny. You shouldn't need, to pair. Kind of like how Christopher Priest used to say, like you shouldn't have to, typecast writers into certain characters because then that just hurts the writer overall.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
I would read a Donny Cates Blade. I mean, he's not a terrible writer. He's actually pretty damn good. I'm slightly jealous,
really good.
but he's really good. He just needs to clear his head a little.
Stop being an idiot.
He buddies up with people, the wrong crowd. The people that only care about identity politics. And he absolutely fully believes that he will not succeed unless he kisses up to them and acts like they do. So, that motivates everything he does, apparently, is just trying to fit in with those people. And that's going to be his downfall ultimately, because that isn't what sells, and it's not what people are going to want.
It's
not
also
what people want now.
The people, he does this, as I said, he does this like every 2 months, where he says something that is eminently reasonable. One or two crazy Twitter people throw a temper tantrum about it. Tens of thousands back him up. He decides to shit on the tens of thousands. Eventually it's going to cost him in readers. You can only shit on the people that are defending you so many times before they stop defending you, and then they stop buying your comics.
Yep.
It's just a matter of time. It's not going to happen overnight, and it's not going to be the first time you crap on them. It's going to be 3 or 4 times for one guy, and then 2 or 3 times for some girl, and it's a stupid topic. And stop casting creators, because if you're saying that only black creators can write black characters, and only women can write women characters, and only Muslims can write Muslim characters, you're eventually going to get to only white people can write white people.
Yeah.
And that sucks.
Yeah, I mean, we already had Bendis write Superman. We saw how that worked out.
Exactly. We don't need, because you know what? Human testicles, end up writing human testicles. His head looks like a. Yeah, sorry.
Too far, man. Too far.
Wes is going to yell at me.
Oh yeah, he's definitely going to murder you.
All right, moving along. So it turns out in Batman 101, it is true. DC Comics are defunding Bruce Wayne. Lucius Fox isn't giving his money back because he can't give his money back. Bruce Wayne can no longer fund his Batman efforts. Of course, also, Bruce Wayne also funds the Justice League, so they're just not going to have any of their stuff either. What do you think about this fatal, Jay? Do you think Bruce Wayne not having money, does that affect the character? It feels stupid to me.
Not to me. That's going to be fun. I want to see Batman use his brain. I want to see
he's
what
already
he can
the
do.
world's greatest detective.
But that's what I'm saying. But I want to see comics where he use his brain. Okay, you don't have the billions to do this. You don't have the billions to do that. Let's see what you do. Let's see what you do now. I want to see that.
Things. Yeah,
I want to see. I'm surprised nobody have. I'm surprised somebody haven't came up with that concept yet to
They've
this
already
point.
done it before.
He's
Well,
lost
they've
his
done
fortune
it
at least
before.
a half dozen times.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, with all the philanthropy stuff that Bruce does with his money as it is, just thinking realistically here, think of all the tax write-offs he has.
Yeah.
So all that money just coming back, just if he slips a couple million over here in savings just for, Batman stuff, he's still good.
I just
So
want to
this
say
is
this real fast. I just want to say this. Wouldn't it be interesting to see what Bill Gates do if he was completely broke? Wouldn't that be kind of fun to see?
Probably do the
Yeah,
same
he'd be
thing
a-
I do.
he'd be a
Eat
bum.
noodles.
Yeah.
Eat ramen noodles.
He'd start a computer company and become a billionaire again.
Yeah.
Right.
Here's the thing with
you're right.
billionaires don't go broke.
That's true.
People
You're
that win the Powerball go broke, but people that are billionaires, it's almost impossible for them to actually go broke.
Yeah.
So okay, fine, we're gonna get Batman Born Again. That's cool.
Yeah.
All right, we unless I start seeing him going from his apartment to a 2-room apart, like a 2-bedroom apartment in a tower down to a 1-bedroom tenement, I'm not going to buy it, because you'd have to eliminate Wayne Manor, you have to eliminate the cars, you have to eliminate everything.
The money is still there, but he can't use it for Batman stuff because all eyes are on him after everyone found out about the offshore accounts and everything.
Yeah,
And Joker was the one behind there, right?
That's what's so unrealistic about this, because when you've got to understand the way that this particular, with that much money, how it works, what it represents. And you can't just, say it's an X amount of money in a pool and we're watching that pool. It doesn't work that way. It's
all
not,
it requires is one account.
Yeah,
Right.
it doesn't
Like I
work
said,
that
Bruce
way.
has got his hands in everything. The Gotham Hospital, the projects, libraries, just money everywhere. So you
This
can't
is
just watch
basically-
one
yeah.
account and be like, yeah, that's the Batman account. Watch
Yeah,
him.
it's-
Oh, he went to the Bat
people that
ATM
are
there.
writing this
That's
are
true.
people that have never had money.
Yes.
Yeah, they don't know how. They don't know how. And they don't know how money is managed. They don't know how finances are managed. They live hand to mouth, and they're trying to write what a billionaire is like. They have no concept.
This is Dan Slott on Iron Man and on Spider-Man. This is Chip Zdarsky on Daredevil. This is a bunch of broke communists that don't understand how money works.
Yeah.
Again, writing a comic about how money works.
Yeah, exactly.
That's true. You guys just broke it down. That's right. You're right about that.
Yeah.
If they want to get
Right.
somebody that could actually write Batman or write Catwoman, as the wealthy characters they are, you'd get somebody like Julia Louis-Dreyfus or somebody like that, because she's a billionaire. She's an actual billionaire before she was ever an actress, and that chick's never going broke. She could write a treatise on wealth, for 1,000 pages. She's very, very brilliant. But the problem is that writers are not typically wealthy, and wealthy people are not typically writers. So that's what happens.
That's true.
Or you can ask somebody like, I don't know, Mark Miller, because he's at least a millionaire. Ask him how
Or
money works.
you could get somebody that's dreamed of
Top
being a
of
billionaire and with things like how cool it would be.
Yeah.
Like, what could you do with it?
Or all you got to do is pick up the phone and call somebody because I guarantee whatever broke communist is writing whatever comic it is, their dad has an estate planner. Call that broke communist's dad's estate planner. That guy can tell you how the money works. Ask him questions. Pay him $50. It's fine.
All right, fellas, this is Fatal J. I'm signing off. I have to go. Fellas, thank you so much for having me. Panel, keep killing it. And Wes, The Rock is not an action star yet.
Them fighting words.
This is the stupidest thing I've ever heard. Jesus. All right. Whatever. Move
Peace out,
along.
Later, bro.
So Brian Ball, this is Batman getting back to basics, but really isn't one of the basic tenets and character traits of Batman is that he is a billionaire. He's been a billionaire essentially since the day he was born.
Yeah, it's a character trait. You really just take it away. Just so dumb. Again, Bruce is a philanthropist, and he's putting money all over Gotham, libraries, housing, other companies, other investments, and having him go broke or unable to use money is silly. And like you said, he's the world's greatest detective, and he's also a ninja. So he honestly just doesn't need the money to do anything other than fix the Batmobile or pay his light and his utility bill or whatnot.
Yeah.
So he can get down and dirty, bare bones, very, very easily. This is kind of what I talk about. Western comics always going back to the same type of storyline over and over and over, just putting a different layer of dressing over it.
Yeah. Once you
kind of been a
actually,
lot of what
it's
you've seen
like
in Batman. Sorry,
I mean, we've had Batman with his back broken, Batman the greatest simp, Batman broke literally like how many times now? Like
at least
five?
a half dozen times.
It's half dozen times. He's always been broke or unable to use the money.
Batman.
Villain took over Gotham.
Yep.
Bruce Wayne is a murderer and on the run.
Yeah, the same stuff over. They do the same thing with Spider-Man. Speaking of Spider-Man, that's our next topic. Now, in Amazing Spider-Man 50, we finally got the reveal. Nick Spencer and Ryan Ottley have been working essentially since Amazing Spider-Man #1, along with Humberto Ramos, talking about Kindred. Who is Kindred? Is obviously a character that knew a lot about Peter Parker's life, knew a lot about the things that he'd been through. There's speculation that maybe Kindred was going to be Gwen Stacy. There's other speculation that it was going to end up being Harry Osborn. It ended up being Harry Osborn, as far as we can tell. Doc, I know you are the X-Men historian, but you are also a Spider-Man mark. What did you think about the Amazing Spider-Man 50 Kindred reveal?
I think that Harry Osborn hasn't been dead long enough for me to give a shit about this.
He's not dead. He's alive.
You know what I mean?
Dead. He's supposed to be dead.
He's supposedly didn't he supposedly die during the clone conspiracy like 2 years ago?
I don't know. I read a comic last year where it's him and Normie Osborn, and they were locked up with Dylan Brock.
Oh yeah, you're right. He's
alive.
Yeah. It's done. I mean, it's really, really dumb. If they wanted because first of all, they're going to have to explain how he suddenly got all these weird dream powers.
Well, this is the belief that this version of Harry Osborn is the one that Peter Parker, like, essentially willed out of existence when he took the deal from Mephisto in One More Day. That's the Harry Osborn that no longer existed, and now he's come back.
Okay, I mean, if that's the case, then all right. So you're gonna have two Harry Osborns running around. But the thing is, this would have made much, much, much more better for it to be George Stacy. A pissed off dad that didn't, that manages to come back from the grave to get vengeance on his daughter's boyfriend that didn't, avenge her.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that was certainly teased in the very opening pages of ASM.
I know, and I would have been very, very happy for that to have been the case. But having it be Harry, any version of Harry, it's just boring.
It didn't surprise anybody. It's like, yeah, that's what we expected. Okay.
I have this feeling that they're going to retcon the reveal like soon, and it's actually going to be somebody else cosplaying as Harry.
I've heard this theory, Brian, that there in the past, Norman Osborn has referred to Peter Parker as son, and that's actually another version of Peter Parker. Because he just says, "My son." What do you think about that?
Okay.
That's that one too far out there?
It's a little out there, but then again, remember the Stacy twins.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Clone, yeah.
Yeah. It could work,
everybody.
but
I think Osborn's basically got clones of everybody. So he could have anybody come out. So
he should clone the Jackal so that the Jackal can clone more people.
He should clone
the
mutants.
clone of the clones.
Yes, he can.
Need some gold balls.
He can go make mutants or something.
Actually, what he needs to do, he needs to go to Krakoa, get that plant, and just hook everybody into the resurrection plant.
Yeah.
GG.
A lot of cloning going on in the 616 doc.
Yeah,
Too much.
But no, as it being Harry, I was terribly underwhelmed.
Yeah.
If it would have been George Stacy, it would have been great because it hadn't really, up until that opening scene in ASM 50, they didn't really hint that it might have been George Stacy. They were kind of leaning more towards maybe Gwen. But George would have been perfect. And then the fact that they tried to swerve, it just screams, it reeks, absolutely reeks of Clone Saga all over again, where, it was the Jackal. It was always the Jackal. They had the twist about, Ben Reilly was actually Peter and Peter was actually Ben Reilly the whole time. And then to walk that back, it was, it's just Norman Osborn with another thing, another big, long, complicated plot to ruin Spider-Man's life.
They do it. The Clone Saga was weird because all of a sudden the clone was the real Peter and the real Peter was the clone, and they kept going back and forth.
Yes, and then they ended up just making it, Norman did it.
Yeah.
That was the way of wiping it all away, of finally wrapping it up after like 4 years.
Yeah, it's like it's like the way they do with Fantastic Four with Doctor Doom. It's like, Doctor Doom did it. It's like they have a go-to, and it's unfortunately Norman Osborn.
Yeah, and that's the problem. I think people are going to dislike this swerve enough that they're going to have to go back to the well of, it was Norman again. Because that's their constant get out of jail free card.
Yeah. You know what's really interesting though? I was right about Ned Leeds in the movies. Have you seen how buff that guy is now? That played Ned, the fat derpy guy that was in the films?
The Asian kid?
Yeah. Have you seen how buff he is now?
No.
I have no idea.
Holy crap. The guy's got a six-pack. He looks like The Rock almost. Everybody needs to go check that out. Go and look and see what that kid looks like now. And he's like, yeah, I'm beefing up for some. They're going to be expanding my role in Spider-Man. I'm like, the Hobgoblin. It's going to happen. Look at him. I didn't think that he could lose 100 pounds and look like he does now, but it's happening.
All right, I'm trying to find a picture of this guy, so you guys keep talking.
Yeah, but go ahead, find him. It's kind of
apparently
crazy.
There's this whole thing about his weight loss.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he did lose a bunch of weight. He's not.
Yeah.
I don't see him being jacked, but I keep seeing him in like a jacket.
Yeah, he showed pictures of him in his workout routine, and he's like got a six-pack now. I'm like, holy crap. And because I always thought it was funny at the time, because like that's Ned Leeds, and I was laughing my ass off at the first Tom Holland Spider-Man movie. Is like, and he said, this is my friend Ned, and he's the derpy Asian kid comes out, and he's like, look, he weighs 250 pounds, and everybody's like, and I'm thinking that's going to be the Hobgoblin. And then I saw then I saw the picture of him with the six-pack, and I'm like, holy shit, they are actually going to do it. So, watch it. It's going to happen.
I see a picture. Yeah, all I keep seeing is him in that wearing a jacket.
Yeah, I see the jacket picture and the gold chains.
Yeah. So when I see no six packs.
I'll find the picture. Go ahead.
Or maybe Paley's on the OnlyFans.
Ooh, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Man, I think that you think about stuff like that too often.
The only fat guy that I know that got really jacked was the Ethan Suplee from
It's true.
The
He says he can't get any movie roles anymore because he's not fat anymore.
Yeah, from the Jay and Silent Bob movies.
American History X.
American
is also
History
in.
X.
Yep.
He was
My
on that
name
one.
is
Yeah, my name
something. Yeah.
yeah, but anyway, bringing it back to Kindred. Yeah, Gabriel Stacy would have been much better than the Osborns again for Spidey. Like, I feel like we're just pulling out of the same hat for the same reveal.
Yeah, they're just they tell the same stories over and over. Hopefully, like Hunted was a good version of Craven's Last Hunt, in my opinion.
It was.
Moving it back to comic books. Scout Comics is releasing 3 new comic book series for $1.99 each. Actually, I have where is it? I have this available to show people. We can see the pictures of what these comic books are. When we get into them, they're from the Scoot imprint, and you can see these are clearly kids' titles. What do you think about this, Pele? Scout Comics actually pretty good. The quality's been really high. Are you in favor of $1.99 kids comics like Soul Stream, Sengi and Timbo and Loot?
Well, as long as they're written for kids, yeah, I think that would be. We need more children's comic books. So, it's back in the day, of course, I used to recommend everybody get Super Sons because it's $2.99. It was kid friendly, and it was really well written, and it was a comic that that dads and moms could read with their kids, and there's just been a hole in the market like that ever since. So I think it's fantastic. As long as it's a actual kids comic.
Yeah, as long as it's kids appropriate, why not?
That's what they look like to me.
Stuff.
What do you think, Brian? Do we need cheaper comics for kids? Is this a good idea?
We definitely do. So, like, if you can get these, like, at the checkout counter or the newsstand, I mean, you have, like, that mom at the grocery store with her kids. It's like, mommy, can I get a comic? It's only $2. Yeah, this is great because this is entry level. And when these kids grow up, they'll be that 20, 30, 40-year-old with a disposable income in Paley's shop buying back issues. This is a really great idea, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I'm looking for some Jorge Jimenez Super Sons teaser that apparently came out recently. I'm assuming this came out on Twitter. Let me look at his Twitter. Maybe I'm not blind.
Honestly, Senki and Tembo looks like something I would pick up. I mean, art style's not really what I'd normally like, but that looks interesting. A mouse and an elephant. I wonder what that's all about.
It's definitely not my thing, and that's cool. I don't need every comic to be for me. But no, hey, if it draws non-reading comic, kids into starting to read comics as a medium, then yeah, it's a good start. As long as they're entertaining, as long as they're fun, why not?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's
all right. So I've got this teaser that Hendrix was talking about for Super Sons. Let's show this. This is Jorge Jimenez. Did a tweet. Stop screen. There we go. And then it just had like question marks on it, and this is what it was. Clearly, the Super Sons. Are the Super Sons coming back? We get another miniseries. Jorge Jimenez. That would be amazing.
Super Grandsons. It'll be part of Future State, and it'll be Super Grandsons.
Super Cousins. Or they'll gender swap it and make Stephanie Brown and Cassandra Cain.
God, I hope not.
Super Sisters.
They would fuck that up, though, wouldn't they?
Super Sisters would be pretty dope.
Well,
remember when they had My Buddy and then they came out with Kid Sister?
Yeah.
I would be fine with Stephanie Brown and they've never had a little whatever Supergirl's daughter is. They give Supergirl a daughter, and it'll be her and Stephanie Brown. I'd be fine with that.
Well, who would?
I just want Super.
What about Batman and Catwoman's kid? What if it's a daughter?
Oh, the Huntress?
No, she's pregnant now.
Oh,
Yeah, but you'll just have two Batgirls.
Yeah.
That my
Yeah.
point is, it has to be somebody because Stephanie Brown's from the
Bat
Bat
family.
family as well. So you need somebody from the Super family.
hmm.
I don't know. She's a little old, isn't she? And she in a relationship with Tim Drake?
I think everybody is.
Tevye Smoke is happy that the Super Sons are returning. We don't know. That's all the information we have. Looks like it may be happening though. That would be very exciting. I like the Super Sons. That was a huge loss.
That was really
I
sad
don't
when they
know.
got canceled.
So Brian, I do have a feeling, and I will be the negative Nancy here on this topic, that basically the kids' comic book market is through the bookstore chains. It's graphic novels, it's Guts, it's Smile, it's Dog Man, and all that stuff. And I don't know, are kids ever going to come back to periodical comics? Floppy comics.
If they don't evolve, you see manga outsells comics by leagues and leagues and leagues, and the reasons for that, manga's got one consistent artist, one consistent writer, one consistent story. They're easier to pick up, start, and then finish. It's not as confusing to get in. So, like, if you miss, like, say, My Hero Academia Volume 2, you can still pick up Volume 3 and understand what's going on, or you can always go pick that up later. Floppies, they definitely need to adapt that manga model if they're ever going to get kids back into the comic book shops. But I do agree, it's kind of dying right now.
Yeah, it's too bad.
Well, the people, I mean, it's like this. Kids want to read about the characters that they play on video games. And it doesn't make any sense to me that they can come out with, with characters that kids love. They love to play Batman. Batman Adventures sells pretty well to kids. As far as my shop's concerned. There are titles that, from DC and Marvel that do sell well to children, but it's kind of an accidental thing. They're not really trying to get the kids to buy it. So, I just don't know why they can't just come out with a good, solid children's label. Not a Star, not something like that, that's like Muppet Babies or any of that kind of shit, but actually come out with a cool comic that kids would like, and they would buy it because everybody wants, to play, they want to read the comic. They want to read the comics that these characters are based on in their video games, but they don't supply it. So
my 5-year-old loves
story.
comic books, but
yeah, a simplified story with a little bit simplified art, and sell it to 8 to 10-year-olds, 12-year-olds.
Yeah. I know.
Well, do you really need simplified art? I mean, again, kids pick up manga all the time, and manga's got various levels of just simple art, highly detailed art, and kids just eat that up. So
mostly just the simplified story, so they can actually get into it. It's not like a adultery type of plot involving murder and mayhem and that kind of thing. They just a simplified plot that's wholesome.
Dude, I got into comics reading Claremont X-Men at 7 years old. I figured
that's
it
not
shit.
Typical.
Yes,
that's
it was.
Typical.
In
No, it's
1988, it was simple. It was typical.
No, it's not typical. But anyway, something like Super Sons now would be fantastic, and that's what we need.
It's crazy. Perch, obviously, he has a boatload of comics, but he also has manga.
And his daughters eat the manga up.
Read manga.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the other problem you're going to still have is it just going to the direct market? Oh, then it's going to be no more successful than anything else in the direct market.
Mm-hmm.
So, yes, it'll be a good gateway, but no, it'll be a difficult gateway for anybody to find, especially non.
I think this is exciting. This is something I think is important, but I don't know that it's going to be successful because at this point, I think it's going to actually cost a lot of money to get young readers back into reading floppies regularly. Obviously, there are still some young readers reading floppies, But I think it would cost a lot of money to acquire those customers again because they've all moved over to the bookstore chains where they're reading Scholastic graphic novels and manga.
Well, they're buying them directly from the schools. They're buying them directly from the book drives and stuff
Book
like
fair.
that. Book fairs, and that's where they can pay $3 a piece for them. So,
Yep. You definitely get a lot more bang
that's
for your buck
basically
on those graphic novels and stuff.
Yep, and we also got to remember kids don't have the disposable income like we do as an adult, so they have to convince their parents, like, hey, we need to go to the bookstore or we need to go here so I can pick up the next thing. And depending on the child or the parent, like they might not have the money to go pick up another $4.99, $5.99 book. But hey,
especially when it's only 20 minutes worth of entertainment for their kid.
Right. Whereas, you can go down to Barnes and Noble, get like 2 or 3 mangas for $15, and then your kid is just reading for the next 10 to 5 days or 5 to 10 days.
So I like the initiative. I support it. I hope it works, but I definitely think they have some hurdles to get over to get back into that market. Now, this is the last topic of the day. This is the Doc special. You've been hounding Marvel Comics and CB Cebulski for months now, saying, why the hell is Brett Booth not illustrating an X-Men comic? And now we learn he's illustrating X-Men. Is it 17?
17, and apparently he's got a couple more issues of that and a couple issues of a different title, but we don't know how many of each at this point. Yeah, he's getting a couple issues, and it's not enough, but it's a good start.
Full art,
full interiors. He's not doing the cover of 17. I think he is doing the cover of the next book. I think it's 18, but I don't know. I think he's doing 17, 18, 19 maybe, and then another book for 3 issues, but there's no clarification yet on how many total issues his current little agreement is for. And I think that they're using it as a test run to see what kind of sales it does. And I think that this is a perfect match for his talent. And honestly, I don't know if my harassment of Marvel Comics and CB had anything to do with it, but even if it put him on their radar, then it was more than worth my my time, harassing them. And
I'm looking forward to it.
I would take credit for it.
I don't really take credit for many things. His art speaks for itself. It just needed the right people's eyes on it.
So Manifesto saying Brett Booth is flirting with crowdfunding. He's not flirting with crowdfunding.
No,
he's like finishing up what he's doing. He just released a cover that he's working on. Yeah, not sure what the date's going to be. Obviously, he's working on some X-Men stuff right now, but he's definitely going to be crowdfunding a comic.
Oh yeah, he's got 2 comics that he's going to be crowdfunding. One is his Parsec book, which is a speedster book, and the other one is something else that I can't remember the name of. That's more group, it's more of a ensemble book. Yeah, he's got 2 different books that he's not even flirting with it. He's straight up just pre-announcing. He just doesn't have a date yet for launch.
There's been some good art in Dawn of X lately. Obviously, Ron Henry is saying we need more great artists. I agree with that, but obviously Victor Bogdanovich has been murdering it on Wolverine. As well as that latest issue of New Mutants from Rod Reese.
Yeah, that was
phenomenal.
And you know what? Even Phil Noto got 1 good issue of Cable so far. It took him 5, but he got 1.
It's been some good art. Obviously, RB Silva and Pepe the Raz when they do one of those comics. So obviously, Brett Booth is another step up.
Yeah,
I like Lionel Francis Yu, but I didn't feel like we were getting his best work on X-Men.
How much of it, Doc? How much of it was they just can't afford Brett Booth?
No, I think that had a lot to do with it, and they're hoping that adding an artist of his caliber will spike up sales, because sales on the X books have started lagging already. There's a number of factors on that. I think Wes and I will talk about that during this week in X, but I think we're starting to see a little bit of sales lag, on the line, and I think they need to do something big before it becomes, it passes the point of no return. And I don't know if putting him on a monthly, like every month, plan on having him there for the next 2 years is something that's in their cards yet. But if they see, it does spike sales, you might end up seeing they'll realize, oh yeah, it doesn't matter whether or not we can afford him. We need to, because creators like that make us able to afford them.
Yeah, as long as they
I'll
can,
be right back.
as long as they can, as long as they can, pay their way.
As long as they get the return on investment.
Yeah.
That's what it comes down to when it comes to picking your creator, your artist, your writer. It's all about the return on investment. If you're selling 20,000 copies with a guy that makes half the page rate, but if you sell, if you triple your units moved on a guy that makes twice as much,
it's worth it.
It's worth it. Yeah, it's absolutely worth it. And especially, it's not a relaunch, which I think we're fine.
Thank God.
And
hopefully, what I'm hoping is that they will have a first appearance. They will have something, that will also bring in, coinciding with this event, with this 3-issue run or something with Brett Booth, because that will really help sales tremendously. If we can get on the, if you can get on the hot list for Facebook or Key Collector or something like that, this is a first appearance or this is an important event, then that will also spice it up tremendously for retailers.
Yeah, but I think they're testing the waters first to see whether or not, because when you start doing that, when you're combining first appearance or a major event or whatever with an artist change, which one caused the spike? You don't know. You can't. You're adding too many different variables in there. When you only change one variable, you can test.
Actually, I know. I'm just talking about optimizing the whole sales package. That would be ideal as far as from a retailer's perspective. I understand what you're saying. I'm just saying from a retailer's perspective, it would be great if we could get all that in one.
Oh, certainly, but they might not. There might be something. I know that this is the first issue after X of Swords.
Yeah.
So it is kind of deciding the future direction. So I think you are going to get something at least relatively important in it, because it is the new deciding direction for where the main book is going. And
do you think it's going to be the return to the Children of the Vault? Because that's the thing I want to see.
I hope to God it is. I hope it's Children of the Vault stuff, AI
to
stuff,
what he
all
did
the
in
shit
Flash
that everybody
Forward,
wants.
I think he would destroy that.
Oh God, yeah. Yeah, I mean that's. I know that this issue is about Storm going to the Shi'ar Empire for something. So I don't know what is, what the story is, but I think you're gonna find some AI space. You might have a return of like the Phalanx related stuff, all the shit that everybody really liked in House of X, Powers of X.
Yeah.
That they wanted to see explored, and instead they decided to focus on plant drug dealers. So I don't know. We're getting at least some space stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Well, supposedly we're moving into Marvel's next space age. That's what they're doing in the Fantastic Four. I guess that's what Empire was bringing in, Doc. Did you know that?
No. I thought it was about more plant
bad guys.
Yeah.
So Brett, the comic novice, has a good point here, Doc. Please, if you haven't already, smash the like button. Let us know that you enjoyed this stream. We're starting to wrap it up here. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, maybe you found us today, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications. What are you waiting for? 2 videos daily. It's all about the comic book industry. We do some reviews. We take some bigger broader topics where we get some opinion, stuff like that. Lots of news, all that good stuff. All these wonderful men join me all the time here on the channel. Of course, we've got Perch here regularly. Tonight, we've got a video with Yellow Flash. He's actually joined me. We talked. That'll be up tonight. Yellow Flash and I are talking like Chris Pratt and stuff.
Now that's right in his wheelhouse, the Hollywood stuff. Yeah, sure.
Yeah. We talk comics too. We talk comics at the end, but we talk Chris Pratt, all the lunacy going on with the election, and then we talk a little bit of comics there at the end. So, Yellow Flash will be on the channel, so that was nice, and yeah, definitely. Brett the Comic Novice has a great idea. Definitely give us a thumbs up.
Smash the shit out of that like button, everybody.
Absolutely.
Like your life depends on it.
Hit it like it stole your money.
Yep.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But no,
how much liquor did I give him? I didn't give him any liquor. It's turns out we like the same stuff. And had a nice conversation.
Plus, Wes is in the Philippines and Yellow Flash is in America, so it'd be difficult to hand him liquor.
Very difficult.
Well, there's this app called Drizzly, right?
And YouTube hasn't given me my money yet.
Oh.
Brian.
Oh, that's
jeez. Hopefully I'll be monetized again soon. It's very frustrating. I'm not going to get into that because my face will turn red and I'll start screaming and people will run away from the channel in horror.
Just send me a bill.
But
so I guess that'll kind of wrap it up, Doc. It's time to do some comic book recommendations. Put a bow on this thing. If you're watching the channel right now and you have some great comics you read this week that you would like to recommend, or maybe there's a collection you finally revisited and it was amazing, or there's something coming up in the pipeline or down the pike, let us know in the comment section. I'll throw them up on the screen for your recommendations as well. Brian Ball, what are you recommending this week?
I'm going to recommend, if you haven't already, check out Common America by Timothy Lim and Mark Pellegrin. Excellent series by an excellent group of creators. I believe they still have their Kickstarter going, and their Indiegogo is going to start here pretty shortly. So if you can, keep an eye out for that.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
They did quite a good job on that. And there's also the Black Ops Common America crossover that they've announced it's coming up soon.
Oh, yeah, I'm excited for that. I owe them a crossover, too. Dang.
We love crossovers. Donny Cates obviously has a crossover coming up as well. So you're recommending Common America Volume 2?
I am.
It'll also be on Indiegogo after the Kickstarter campaign wraps up and they ship out the books. It'll go live on Indiegogo and you'll have another chance if you weren't able to get it the first time.
That is correct.
Oh, I highly recommend We Live Aftershock Comics, the Miranda Brothers. Very nice recommendation. Doc, what are you recommending this week?
I'm recommending X-Men. It was surprisingly all right. I'm definitely recommending that you go to your local comic shop, and if you're not reading X-Men already, absolutely put issue 17 on your pull list. Tell them to pre-order it for you, because that's Brett's first issue. Additionally, Rags, number 7. Dude, did the AP version come out? I thought it was supposed to.
It was supposed to. I still haven't received my contributor copies yet, so I need to poke them about that.
Yeah, I think it was supposed to come out Wednesday, and then I just remembered it didn't come out Wednesday. So go buy Rags number 7 whenever it comes out, whenever AP gets around to printing it and sending it to comic stores. Dunn Brothers, send the comic. Otherwise,
Alex is saying he doesn't know what Future State is. Alex, there are 2 videos on the channel where I break all down what Future State is and the creative teams. Then I go down through all the titles, how much they cost, and what basically the premise of the books are. You should go check those out if you want information on Future State. I got you covered. Sorry, Doc.
My final recommendation is Venom. Go read Venom. It was good this week.
You enjoyed this week's Venom?
Yeah, I did. It's pretty good.
28 or 29?
29, I think.
29. Yep.
And I recommend taking LSD if you're going to try to read Excalibur this week, because it doesn't make any fucking sense.
Well, we'll be talking about that live on the channel tomorrow, Doc.
All right.
Not live, but it will be on the channel tomorrow.
All right.
Nice. All right, Piley, what are you recommending at the shop this week?
Okay, since Doc is recommending Venom, I'm going to recommend 2 books from Boom Studios. First one, Something is Killing the Children, number 11, is killing the sales. It is awesome. I love that series quite a bit. It's a really good series, good horror series. And I actually like Dune House Atreides. I thought it was well done. And it's a good prelude. And I liked it. Thought it was good. So both my recommendations are from Boom this week.
Boom has absolutely been killing it. I think they're going to
Yes.
permanently move into that 4 slot as far as the comic culture. I think they're going to surpass IDW permanently very soon.
Oh yeah. They're doing a great job, and they don't write very many stinkers anymore. So I'm quite happy with them.
All right, so my recommendations, and I want to say thank you to all the viewers who gave recommendations as well. A lot of them been covered. My big recommendation is Daredevil 23. It was a return to form with Chip Zdarsky writing, and Marco Cicchetto returned as the artist. It's definitely the best issue of Daredevil in a few months. It was absolutely amazing. What else was good? Was there a new Juggernaut this week? I think there was,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. It was pretty damn good. Love the Ron Garney art. Hopefully they'll pick up the story a little bit. Also, Maestro number 3. Absolutely. The Maestro's been really good. Enjoying that one from Peter David a lot. And do we have any other? Nope, no more recommendations in the comment section. Thank you all for joining us today. I think we had a great time. Don't forget to like this video. And obviously, there will be a video later with Yellow Flash. Doc and I will be talking Ten of Swords tomorrow. I'll also be talking about the 6 up-and-coming comic writers you need to know about with Perch tomorrow. And then on Monday, Perch and I are going to do a Ten of Swords midterm grade on how the event's going. So
Yeah,
lots of
smash
Ten of
the
Swords
like
coming
button.
up.
Smash
Absolutely.
that like button.
Hit that like button like it stole your money.